Rush Limbaugh decided to slam free college because, of course, but listen to why he thinks Obama is doing it.
Okay, so here comes Barack Hussein-O, and he's going to give away the first 2 years of community college. And I guarantee you he's going to determine what's taught very subtly. And he won't have to work at it very hard anyway, because education has already been corrupted by his people. But I'm telling you what this is. This is an apparent gift, because, folks, there is going to be shock and awe this year with the Obamacare rollout.
Obamacare already rolled out not that long ago. The 2016 Obamacare rollout. Okay, he's not the only conservative I heard say that, so I looked it up online. There's nothing extra being rolled out. I mean, unless he's just talking about the re-enrollment process, which anybody who's using Obamacare, you go through it again. You have to go through the exchanges basically every year to get a new plan to more coincide with whatever your income level is, and it depends how long your plan lasts, how long your original contract is every time. But it's already been rolled out. The only difference in 2016 is that they up the fine for not having any health insurance. It was like $300 and change. Now it's going to be $600 and change. Although the enforcement mechanism isn't really there, so people kind of can get away with it, even though they're not really supposed to, and they're supposed to get health care by law, or supposed to get health insurance by law. But what the fuck is he talking about? No, again, this goes to the heart of what I say every time we discuss Rush Limbaugh. The guy has no clue the fuck he's talking about. He just makes shit up as he goes along. The free college is distracting from Obamacare rollout. But it already rolled out. So it's distracting from Obamacare. But it's actually done well so far. It's actually cut the growth of healthcare costs tremendously. And look, I know I'm using it. I used it, right? I mean, it's like I'm a single guy who's essentially a business owner, and I don't, nobody's my employer. I essentially self-employ, so I got to get health care somehow. So I went to the exchanges. I live in New York, so I went to the exchanges. I would have had to pay, I'm talking about last year now, I would have had to pay something like $500 or $600 for a silver plan, and then because of the subsidy I got, it knocked like $200 off of it. I was like, that's awesome. So if it wasn't for Obamacare, I simply would have had to pay a lot more money every month. So he flat out put extra money in my pocket. That's awesome. That makes perfect sense. I mean, we should have a Medicare for all system where essentially it's paid for by tax dollars for everybody, right? But we don't have that. And, I mean, the second best thing would be a public option system where you could opt into a Medicare-like system. We don't have that either. So then the third best system is you subsidize people to buy on the private market, which is what Obama's doing. And, of course, it's adjusted for your income. So if you don't make much money at all, then you'll get a bigger subsidy, and you can essentially only pay like $30 or $40 a month for your health care. That's awesome. It used to be the case that the people who made no money, right, like let's say they're just above the Medicaid threshold, so they can't get Medicaid, which is free health care for people who have low income. So you're just above the Medicaid threshold. Well, it used to be that you were just fucked if you couldn't get health care through your employer. It would just be cost prohibitive and you'd have to go without health care. Now that Obamacare's there, it makes it so that those people can get health care. So there's nothing to distract from. It's been positive so far. But of course, Rush Limbaugh, in his mind, is just all of his listeners, their default assumption is, of course, Obamacare is bad. So they're zoned into the same wavelength as Rush Limbaugh. So when Rush Limbaugh says something like that, they're just like, oh, that's right. Distract him from Obamacare, even though it's working. What? I mean, even take Mitch McConnell, for example. In his debate when he was running against Grimes, he said, oh, yeah, I'm still against Obamacare. I'd love to repeal Obamacare, but I really like this Connect thing. You know what Connect is? Connect is the Kentucky version of Medicaid. And it had to be explained to McConnell. No, that is Obamacare. That is Obamacare. Because part of Obamacare is Medicaid expansion and the individual mandate and subsidizing people who buy on the private market. That's the bill, basically. And Also, there's one part in there where he kind of admits that free college is a good thing. What happened, Rush? I thought you hate socialism, you hate government, you hate anything that the government does. So you called it a gift. So if you call it a gift to try to cover up for Obamacare, right, which is what you did, well, then you're admitting it's a good thing. It's a gift. So it's positive. You admitted it was positive without realizing it. Because if it was negative, it's not a gift, right? It's something, we don't like this. Get this away. No, it's a gift. So that's weird. I didn't know that you like socialism, Rush. Interesting. And the final thing I'll say on this is he makes it seem like Obama's going to write the curriculum. Could you imagine Obama literally writes the curriculum? He's like, all right, guys, come back in 3 weeks. I'll have this bad boy ironed out for you. He's busy with many other things, Rush. He's not going to write the curriculum himself. Now, is the federal government involved in some ways in the curriculum? Maybe. Is that a good thing? It is if they are. Because I'll tell you one thing for sure, man. As bad as any government system is for determining history and facts for textbooks and stuff, it's worse when you go to the state level. Like, the feds may be bad at it, but they're way better than the states. Now, how do I know that? Look at fucking Mississippi. I mean, we covered the story not too long ago. They have sex ed class where you're not allowed to mention condoms. I trust the federal government way more than I trust the state government when it comes to making a curriculum. And again, he acts like it's liberals and progressives who are forcing our agenda on kids and we're doing propaganda and indoctrination. But it's projection because that's what you do. That's what the conservatives do. And we know it because we've seen the debate on creationism versus evolution, for example. There is no debate in that field. One is science, the other is religious. But you have conservative Christians trying to shove that in the science class alongside the real science. So who's doing propaganda there? The people who are trying to force religion into the science class. Who's doing propaganda when it comes to religion overall being pushed into the schools? It's the conservatives. Who's the one doing propaganda when it comes to American history where they try to say that slavery wasn't as bad as you think it is? They renamed the slavery trade to like the triangle trade or something like that in a lot of conservative states in their textbooks. The triangle trade. Because they think, if you just say slavery, you're being anti-American and anti-white. So it's the conservatives trying to whitewash the history, trying to make it so that, the Native American thing, it was bad, but it wasn't all that bad. So let's only a little bit on that. And then let's move on, okay. And then the whole slavery thing, it was called the triangle trade and dance around it, and it was not great, but it was, it's not terrible. Anyway, moving on. Segregation, yeah, it happened, but blah, 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 blah. I mean, they're apologists for the negative aspects of American history. I mean, Rush Limbaugh writes books that are about this exact same thing, where he is an apologist for what Americans did to the Native Americans, right? He's an apologist for slavery and the negative parts of American history. He writes about this in all of his books, so you are the one doing the thing that you accuse the liberals of doing. So spare me with your nonsense. The reality is that this proposal to do 2 free years of college is a fantastic proposal. The only thing that's bad about it is I wish it went further. I wish it was 4 years. I wish all college was subsidized by our tax dollars instead of all of our tax dollars going to fight unnecessary wars and going to Wall Street and going to multinational corporations.